Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rebels REL Division 10C Weekly Recap. This is Volpus and Colta, and thank you for joining me. So, this week we will be dividing the recap into two different parts. For the first one, we are recording this. This is Monday night, but we have a special guest on the show, and that is going to be your own Division 10C's Bretonian coach, Gorst. Hi, Gorst. How you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. Thanks for the introduction. Excited to talk about some Blood Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So within that, um, so kind of some of the introductory questions that I've asked some of the other coaches within the division is, one, where did you learn about Blood Bowl? How'd you get into playing?
Oh, so what? I'm 35, and before I started kindergarten, my brother brought home Rogue Trader 40K, and I played that. Granted, I'm sure I was garbage at it and no idea what's going on, but orcs were cool,
Yeah.
and I still love orcs to today. So I don't know. I learned about it because I was a miniature game player, and I just love Schadenfreude, and Blood Bowl is the game about Schadenfreude.
Yeah,
So
man. That's awesome. Hell
yeah.
yeah. So how did you find out about Rebel in the league itself?
So I run another league for my brother and friends of ours, and one of the guys in there was telling me about the Reddit leagues, and I decided, oh, maybe I'll find some pickup games there. And I was looking for another league for a while to play because I've really loved Blood Bowl for a long time, and I saw one of the things was opening up for new coaches, and I jumped on in so I could be in two leagues at once because why not?
Ah, that's sweet, man. So what has your experience been like in the well, you said this is your first season in Rebel, so what has your experience been like so far for the first season?
I have loved knowing that I am being outplayed. So with the other league, there's definitely some of us that are kind of around the same skill level. And so I'm sure we're getting better playing against each other, but it was so refreshing to join in this Rebbl League and like right away seeing new things and realizing like, oh man, I might think I'm good because I do well in that league, but I am garbage compared to some of these players.
No,
Uh,
that's awesome. You're holding your own, man. I know you're probably not all
well,
that involved within the Discord, but I know some of the other coaches. They don't like facing you, man. They say you're pretty good, and you put some
oh
beat downs
man,
on some teams.
like the so one thing, so what? I've got like 100 hours in Blood Bowl 1, 300 hours in Blood Bowl 2. So you feel like 400 hours in, I should know my stuff already. But like playing against the Skaven players or high agility teams is just a complete, I don't know. I just realized how poor my game is versus them because of how great the positioning was of the two different Skaven players.
Yeah, man.
And I
It's
think like I've gotten better. Like the first time I played one of them, I lost 4-1. The next time I lost 2-1, and finally I tied with a 1-1 victory. I'm counting as a victory because I wasn't blown out, but it's the little things.
no, that's great, man. That's funny, and yes, Skaven bullshit is kind of what that's known as. So,
Well, yeah, AGI bullshit. We call it elf bullshit because elves
yeah,
usually are
yeah,
the Chili 4 team,
yeah.
and like the other league, I was able to do well with Dark Elves once, so I think I should be accustomed to at least their strategies. But man, it is so much harder to stop than knowing what they're going to try to do. Like
Yeah.
just how to play against that is like a giant blindside because I'm so used to like everyone loves going smashy so much that I feel like I know how to do a defense versus smashy team, and but even your score strategy versus smashy versus an agility team is so different, and trying to understand that has been fun to try figuring out with Bretonians, which I get accused of playing a meme team sometime, but I think they're legit. So yeah, it's been
No, they're
great.
good. They're good. There's a coach in another league called the OCC, the Coca-Cola Championship, and it has a bunch of like the top European coaches. For you American coaches, and I think the Bretonian team has won twice in that one, so it's a pretty
Yeah,
competitive. So that I've seen a good Bretonian team that's been able to adapt their play style to either bash if they're playing a high agility team, or they'll play the more of the high movement agility three with dodge game against the stronger teams as well.
yeah. I feel like their strength comes from the ability to spread out so well. Like playing Elves usually 4, I fell in love with the passing game. I've tried making every team a passing team since then, which is not smart. So I don't recommend that at all.
It's fun, but maybe not conducive to winning every game.
Oh no, not consistently. If I'm playing like
Yeah.
one-off match, sure, uh, but some Bretonians with catch with 4 players, I thought, no, yeah, this is a passing team. I can make it work. Nope.
That's That's funny.
I think they're like a power run game where they can swing so easily with catch
Yeah,
passing the ball off. They can do crazy things like that. So they
yeah,
feel like more bashy elves in a little way because they like a dark elf team with a power run. But their defense is something that I mean I feel like it can smash almost as good as a smash team, but not quite as well. But with that power run, I really love that. I think they've
I
got some real
agree.
potential.
Yeah, it's with the high movement blitzers, they really can just swing the field really easily. And so yeah, I agree with that. And the thing that makes them a bit different than humans is their skill access. It's a bit strange to
Oh
where
wow, yeah,
the blitzers with the agility and passing, and then you have the wrestlers with, or the blockers, I believe, with the strength access. So it's a little strange. You don't always want just wrestle on all your strength access pieces, but
yeah,
we'll dive a little bit into your team a little bit later and how you've been able to combat that a little bit with some of your other skill ups.
yeah. So it's interesting because what I've played dwarves, chaos dwarves as well a lot, and those teams. Do I have block? Yes. Yet no, then get blocked. Do I have guard yet? No, get guard. And Bretonians are you can't follow a simple strategy with that all.
Yeah.
And then you've also got Fen, and I love weird skills like that because no one ever usually takes Fen while leveling up, but once in a while Fen is really going to frustrate an opponent, and that's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And if only the peasants is the real drawback to a Bretonian team, to where the AV7 kind of agility 2 as well. They can be tough. So if you can utilize your peasants, they're cheap, which is good. So you
Yeah.
will usually have a bench, might be able to have a dirty player or two, and kind of use them that
The
way.
the
But
last two teams I played before Bretonians were Chaos Dwarfs and then was Nurgle. So let me tell you, Speed Six lineman is incredible, and I don't hear anything bad about them because man, they can get
okay,
everywhere
you're
I
right.
want them
You're
to
right.
be.
You're right.
Yeah, because for their cheap, I mean, they offend. They're what 40,000, so they're dirt
Yep,
cheap.
they are
Yeah, they've
dirt cheap.
got agility two. They don't have access to strength skills, but oh man, Speed Six lineman is.
Yeah,
you play enough Speed Four teams, and all of a sudden Speed Six looks like you're
that's funny.
going Mach 5.
That's funny. All right, man. Well, let's dive into the most recent schedule here.
All right.
I actually have brought up not the Swiss, but the Division 9. I was looking at Week 9 there for a second. So if you give me a second, I'll go ahead and pull up the Swiss.
No problem.
Rookie mistake there. All right. So looking at here, and by Monday night, everybody has played their game. I think you were the last one to play, and it was Sunday night. Like this division has just actually steamed through this week, which is really awesome to see. First up is coincidentally enough is going to be your team here. And like you said, you gave a little sneak peek earlier, is that you were able to finally draw against the Skaven team. Rando Maximus is the coach of the Squeaky Blinders, who was the number two team in the table going in, and you came out with the 1-1 draw. What were your
Yeah.
general thoughts about this game?
So the week before I played him to the 2-1 loss on my part, and I definitely learned a lot about that. So um, one thing he did in the game before was that really drove home is that when trying these agility teams, like typically against bash teams, which like I said I was used to playing, like you see a chance to score, you score. You don't second guess it because you don't know when you're gonna have a chance again. If unless you can delay and do all that other stuff. But against agility teams, I don't think that's correct. I think I gotta go for more ball control because I scored early against him the first time, and then he got back and being Skavens, I was powerless versus him, and he was able to score right away. So first half it was like 1-1, and second half he got the ball and just played around the backfield the time and was able to score again for a 2-1 victory. So I did not want to give him that. So I worked hard just to eat up clock while moving back and forth with the ball. I then did something a little risky. Luckily, 75% chance for the goal, and it paid off to get the first score in the first half.
Yeah,
Um,
I actually caught this game. I was watching it live at the moment because I knew that we'd be going through the recap, and it was the handoff to the old MVP here, Big Nate.
yeah, the Agility 2 lineman. I was like,
Yeah,
I haven't burned my reroll yet. If necessary, I can try stalling another turn, but I see it was turn 7, and my new goal versus Skaven is that I don't score between turn 7 or 8 because it just is worthless because they're easily going to be able to score if I give them 3 turns, and I don't man, I can't stop that. I can't stop the stupid little rats running around.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I balled up thinking I would be able to outsmash Skaven, which, I could, but I wasn't getting any injuries. My knockouts weren't too great. I think like one injury happened second half for me. So my goal was to ball up in the middle and just dare him to try out smash me for a while. And that was going well for me, even though I wasn't able to get enough injuries through. And then eventually, just doing that stall technique, was able to go to one side, pass him, and have him go down. So that was the strategy for the first half.
Yeah, and it ended up working out. So you gave this Skaven 2 turns to score, which they definitely have the capability of going down and doing that. But it wasn't very well executed on Random Maximus' part. I think he only had one scoring threat. He failed the pickup.
Yeah, that
I
was
think,
good.
yeah,
I like that.
I'm not sure if it was with the gut. It might have been with the thrower. I might think it might have been a 1-9 fail.
Yeah,
And
no, he had a sure hands blow up on him,
yep, yep. And
but
so
the kick landed well for me. So I
it
mean, he
did.
would have.
It would have been tough. It would have been tough.
I mean,
I
still Skaven, so he probably would have, but I tried hard for it not to be.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think he had one or two rats that were going. I think it was only one rat that was score. So my plan was going to be like collapse upon that one rat and make sure, like, instead of caging my ball carrier, cage just one rat and just like you're not getting out of this. Please don't get out of
Yeah.
this.
That's funny. No, you're right, and you're able to shut it down. So it was a very successful first half, and then the start of the second half, very interestingly enough, I believe you were receiving, correct? Was that
I
no?
think didn't he score like in 2 turns? Then he kicked me, and
Oh,
that's when
that's right. That's right. So
when the apocalypse scenario happened on my
yes,
side.
exactly. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah. So he quickly he scored very quickly, which is fine. You get 1-1. So it's your turn to try to do the 2-1 grind, and then of
Yeah,
course a pitch evasion happens against Skaven. And your
not
two
yeah.
the two Bretts you had in the backfield are the ones that got knocked down. I think maybe one or two that were on the line of scrimmage also, and then
I
all
had
all hell
six
breaks loose.
players. Yeah, I had six players go down, including my two people in the backfield, to his two players. Like going in, I was like, "This is perfect. I've got all the time in the world to score.
Yeah.
I think he's got knocked out. I'm up one player versus him. I get to do my smashes first. I'm feeling super good about how this game is going. I think I'm going. All of a sudden, pitch evasion. Six of my players go out with my two guys in the backfield. I'm like,
Oh,
oh no,
dude, that's I,
oh no.
yeah. I forget what my exact words was, but I think it was "oh damn." Pitch evasion
Yeah,
against Skaven.
yeah, and
Awful.
like
So yeah,
that was looking to be brutal.
yeah,
Yeah, that.
so he floods your backfield.
Yep.
You're scrambling against gutters. You throw some blocks in them, but you recover pretty well. I think you do eventually pick up the ball either 1 or 2 turns later.
Yep.
He is able to kind of. It was very difficult to move the ball at that point though because you had your team split up and it was not an ideal
Yeah.
scenario and you had a hard time protecting the ball. I think he knocked the ball loose from you as well. And it just got kind of crazy at the end. A few times the ball
It.
was thrown into the crowd.
Yeah. No, I was going for that, thinking like, well, what's my only chances to get the ball down the field in a quick fashion? And it worked. Like I knocked one of his. I think it was maybe Gutter was one of them into the ball, knocking it off the pitch early in the turn. Hopefully that I could then position around it well. And it went like screaming down the sideline. I was super happy. I was able to get my hands on it and run all the way down where you'd only get like one guy could get like a one die block me if he went for it twice. And I was like, oh, I can finally taste my victory versus Skaven. It's so close. It's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. That's
Yeah. So that
I
I did not end up getting the victory though.
I will say I do think you outplayed your coach Remax, because that wasn't necessarily the case the first time you guys played.
Oh, it
So
was not the case the first time. I can say I was definitely outplayed the first game.
yeah. So but I think overall you did really well, man. It's definitely showing some improvement as the season goes on. But
Yeah, I mean I love seeing the fact that like I did not, you know, I definitely felt like there was a bunch of players better than me on top of the ladder, which was like, yep, I remember playing against them and they deserve to be ahead of me.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next game here. We have
Oh, we should tell the audience at home how the game ended. Because
oh
here I
yeah,
am
go
thinking that I'm still the victory is within my hand. Only Nuffle himself can come down and rob it for me. So I've got a guy who's 2 squares away from like the end zone, and he's got one rat on him. And because of my opponent's great positioning, and I had a chance to get someone there, run up there, give a 2-die block for his blitz to freedom, but it didn't go my way. So I was like, all right, 1 die roll, 33% chance I don't score, and I then get to be sad for a little bit. 66% chance that I win. Of course, I'm going to get it. And then Nuffle shows me the skull, and it's like, ugh, well, there goes that chance.
Yeah, that's
66% chance for the guaranteed win, and Nuffle says no.
that's heartbreaking, man. I saw a game today. It was a Division 1 game against a Skaven team and a Necro team, and he had the Skaven team on the last turn 16 of the game had one GFI at the end with a reroll, and he rolled Snake Eyes at the end to keep the drive. So it does. Nuffle likes to do that to you.
Oh,
Kind of likes to rip your soul out.
yeah. Yep. That's like with the Skaven teams, like I always felt like when they're scoring, I always have a chance to hit them for hopefully something good. But that going forwards have not been my friend this entire time with Rebbl. Nor is picking up the ball usually. But I made a vow to myself that I'm never going to play another team without sure hands, and of course I break it.
Yeah,
That vow lasted all of 0 seasons.
That's funny. And I don't think you have. Do you have anyone with sure hands at the moment?
No, I still am
Maybe one
not
day.
100% sure how to level up my people
Yeah,
with Bretonians, and because they're an expansion team, like the internet hasn't solved it more or less, and
yeah,
so there's
yeah.
not.
Not a lot of
So I
good
don't,
guides out
I'm
there,
trying
really.
things out
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's good. I like the creativity of the where you kind of force your hand to be creative
on
on
the
yeah,
Brets.
with the breads on the other skill ups.
Yeah,
All right, so the second game we have here is going to be PDX Bosco and his Dwarven Stunt Force facing off Grindel's Underworld Safety Hazards, and we have another 1-1 draw here. And so this one was very interesting started off. So I'm not sure if you've played with the last time you played the Dwarf Coach, but he has a Death Roller now. In fact,
I don't think he had it when we played.
yeah, and then he leveled up that Death
Oh, maybe.
Roller and got block on it. So he has a
Oh,
block Death Roller.
okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so the thing is a menace. However, in the first half, he proceeded to roll double skulls on a block Mighty Blow claw piece on one of the Skaven Blitzers, and promptly knocked himself out of the game immediately. So,
Man, that
um,
is super.
yeah.
Oh, Blood Bowl.
So poor Grindel here at the safety hazards. He doesn't have a win this season, but he has two of the most fearsome killers in the league, and that's his two Skaven Blitzers that are both Block, Mighty Blow, and Claw. And so he hasn't leveled the one that got MVP here. Just got another level up. He hasn't chosen it yet, and he absolutely bashed the Dwarven's skulls in. 11 armor breaks. He 4 injuries, killed a dwarf. Two
Oof.
knockouts, yeah, just absolutely killed him. But PDX Bosco did a fantastic job in the second half of being able to control the ball and even down men, and was able to form a drive to have a tie at the very end. So he played very well to squeak out that victory. Um, Looking at the SCP, inflammable with MVP and 3 casualties, I believe. He might have scored a touch. No, so 3 casualties in the MVP, 11 SPP for his Skaven Blitzer in that game alone. Just,
All right.
yeah. So, really good development for him. Quick look at the block dice 22 pals versus 24 skulls for Stump Force, 24 pals versus 28 skulls for the Underworld, about even across the board. I think this kind of gets sums up to, that's not too surprising we got a draw here. Too bad Grindel couldn't get his first win, but yeah, he definitely gonna be able to take some skulls though. Even he might not be able to win every match.
Yeah, well, I mean, he fouled the pass set forth by the rest of the league with what 4 out of 5 matches were ties.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
he's right in the
He's
mix
there,
still.
yeah. He's a guy you don't want to play. He has a block troll and 2 block mighty bow claw pieces that will absolutely
Yeah.
destroy your team.
Yep. He is doing Underworld, so I don't think he might be a little mean, but I don't think he went into the season expecting to win a whole
Yeah,
bunch.
no, Underworld's a strange team. I mean, with all the stunties that they have, it's very difficult to compete game in, game out. But you are kind of dependent upon out removing your team, even though you're outstrengthed. So it's they're definitely not the one of the better races that they have, but they have been some successful coaches out there. There's a few teams out there within Rebbl and
Oh,
REL that are actually doing pretty well with Underworld. So it's kind of
hmm.
a lot of fouling, usually a deep bench, and usually a couple killers that will absolutely wipe out the other team.
Oh, so they're probably a team that needs some experience really to start shining. Then
Yeah, I think they're
this
close.
format really helps them.
Yep, exactly.
Because I know, like, they can get a goblin with like two-headed and stunty that just is a dodge machine where
Yeah, yeah,
you just can run through everyone and not care.
yep, he's like a really good kind of a mobile assist piece. They're really cheap, so you can foul with them all the time. You
Yeah,
got to be able to utilize them well. You have to somewhat protect them, but it's kind of tough to do because there's a lot of them, and you have to just expect that they're going to get
yeah.
removed. So that's why you kind of have to keep up with your goblins getting removed or your Skaven line rat, which are AV7, getting removed by removing as much of the other team as you can before you get to that point. So it's a little it's I would think their game plan is a little similar to Norse, to where they're all AV7, but their game is also can we out remove the other team? I think the Underworld kind of plays a similar game like that.
Oh, I always view Norse as the glass cannon, where they try to be a super bashy team, but Armor 7 is their downfall. But
Yeah,
block starting means they're great at low TV.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
I guess I don't know.
I think Underworld's a little bit of a glass cannon themselves, also.
Yeah, I guess you do have. I mean, if you get Claw Mighty Blow people, that's always going to be good at removing pieces.
I think the Skaven Blitzer might be one of the best pieces in the game. Movement 7,
Movement 7, Armor 8.
Elmer 8, only strength 3, but they have natural mutation and strength access. So you can get your claw
Yeah,
palm
that's really
off the
good.
bat. You can get horns to increase the be strength 4 blitz. They're really mobile 7 movement. I think they're one of the best pieces in the game, especially once developed.
And then how cheap are they? Because I'm guessing they're not too expensive to start off.
No, I think they are 90,000, I believe.
Okay. All right, that sounds about right for someone starting with block. That isn't a liability in some fashion.
Yep, yep.
I know that animosity. You never know. That 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah, real mega trait there.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one we have up is going to be a few ornery Oninous, coached by Pimple Jams, going up against Atomics in the Rowdy Rebel Rousers, in the Nurgle squad that he has. And I think this one went pretty similar to the first time that they played, in which the Rowdy Rebel Rousers was just able to out remove and just out bash the elves. Quick
Yeah.
look, we see 2 deaths that the elves sustained.
That's brutal.
Yeah, they were out blocked by 30 blocks, 2 injuries, 1 KO. It was a bit similar. I think we have some similar stats for the previous time they played. Also, there was 3 casualties sustained that were not on blocks from the Rebel Rousers. So either dodges or failed GFIs was able to injure three elves as well. So
Yeah,
not the
Neville's
kindest.
really,
Yeah, not the
really not
kindest dice.
smiling on you when that happens.
Yeah.
To get 1, to get
Yeah, yeah.
3.
So I was looking at some stats before this game. So what I will be doing at the end of the season is putting together kind of like an all division team of all the best players. And so I was doing
Okay.
some looking at some preliminary stats. And Sandoon, the Nurgle warrior for the Rowdy Rebel Rousers, is leading the league in casualties. It looks like he got 2 more this game, kind of feasted on some AV7 elves, and that guy just game in games out removes so many different players.
Do you think his 34 points of star player points was just through casualties?
I
Like, no
think
MVPs necessary?
let me take a peek real quick. So the cool thing is, if you go to Rebbl.net, I'm not sure if you've been there before, but they have a list of a lot of the teams, including yours, and you can take a look. If you click on the get into your team and you click on your player, it'll actually give you the stats of what he has. So,
Oh.
yeah. So quick look at Sandoon is he has 97 tackles. Inflicted, 34 have been injuries, which is 17 stuns, 8 KOs, and 9 casualties, including 1 person dead. So for his 34, yeah, let's see here. For his 34 star player points, he has 9 casualties, so that's 18. I think he has a touchdown. No touchdown. So he got a few MVPs. He definitely has a few MVPs that help him lead the way as well. But 9 casualties through the 10 games played.
Okay, well I'd take that.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. So yeah, it was a rough game for the Elves. A bit unfortunate, but I know Atomics was really happy with the win. And quick look at the schedule is that there was 4 ties and only one match that actually resulted in a win for somebody. So it was definitely a big leap within the table for Atomics there.
Okay, yeah, no, that was impressive. A 3-1 victory for Nurgle. I mean,
Yeah,
Nurgle scoring 3 times in the game is rare enough.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So it was really well
yeah.
played by him. And the next matchup we have here is going to be the famous Wizards coached by Chow Shock or Hawk or Chaos, he likes to be called also, versus Trucks, the Torture Club. Have you taken a peek at this Nurgle team that the Torture Club that Truck has built?
The highest TV in their division.
Do you see why they're the highest
Oh,
TV in the
yeah, because he
division?
keeps on getting ability level ups. It's ridiculous. An agility 5 Prestigore?
Yeah,
Ugh. Ugh.
disgusting. Agility 5 Pestigore, Agility 4 Pestigore, and just for the memes, he has an Agility 4 Rodder as well.
You have to
Um,
wonder, like, at what point he's like, do I really want to take this agility stat? I mean, I don't think I need this anymore.
yeah. No, not this guy. If you talk to him, he is all about trying to have fun and make some really quirky builds.
Yeah,
That's
this
just
is,
fun for him to
he's
play.
got it.
Yeah, exactly. So the Elfish Nurgle team was able to come out with a 1-1 draw against the actual Elf team, the famous Wizards. So
Okay.
these two guys are actually part of the same clan league, which is another league within Rebbl itself, to where you have actually like teams competing against each other, not just individuals. So
Huh.
these guys know each other. They actually knew each other before they joined Rebbl as well. So a couple friends going at it here, and
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's got a little more spice to it. See what
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
I wonder if
Um,
his blodging Nurgle Warrior was the key to that 1-0 or the 1-1 tie. He couldn't deal with that blodging Nurgle Warrior.
yeah, maybe so. That guy's tough to hit, right? I mean, with the
Yeah.
foul appearance and
And I'm guessing, yeah, the elves don't have tackle, so what are they going to do versus him?
yeah,
No
not
tackle, one
much.
guy with wrestle. Ooh,
You
2
do,
guys with wrestle.
yeah, you dodge away. That's pretty much what you do. So 1-1 draw here. I didn't catch the game here, unfortunately, but it looks like a fun one. I'm not too surprised that these guys came out with the draw. They both coaches play really well. 17 blocks only for the elves, so it looks like they did try to disengage as much as possible. 45 for the Nurgle team, so they look like they, including one kill. I will say I watched your game against the High Elf team, and your dice were so hot that game, and I think you removed his whole team almost by the first half.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are games as much as I love Level, because it's weird because it's such a game of, there's so much skill and there's such luck involved. I can't
Yeah,
think of another game that has so much of both. And there are certain games where, like, well, I literally can't fail.
no,
Like,
I will
I can do
say,
anything
yeah.
right now and win.
If you get dice enough times, you will never complain about getting good dice. I will say never complain about getting good dice because my gosh, it has to come to you at some point, right?
Yeah, no, eventually one day. Around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. So the last one we have up here is going to be Orcs, and our name is Legion, going up against the table leader of Rats against Teen Stars and Razzlestorm, and we can have a 1-1 draw here. So a little bit surprising as the Rats are at the top of the table, but if you've kind of followed the Orc team throughout the season, they've had some bad luck a little bit. They've had some tough time developing their Black Orcs. They're starting to get there. Their Black Orcs are starting to get some blocks, starting to get some guard, and their team is starting to rebuild some of his blitzers that he's lost, and his team is really starting to shape up to be a pretty damn good orc team that you don't want to mess with.
Okay, yeah.
And
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so quick look at the blocks. He outblocked not the elves, the Skaven team. He has 5 injuries inflicted, so it looks like he did
Oh, there
pretty
we
good.
go.
Yeah, mighty blow coming in and making those KOs, casualties. I'm sure tons of SPP for him. And Razzlestorm did a good job of kind of weathering the storm and getting to the point where he was able to keep this game into a draw. And because the Squeaky Blinders draw as well, they're going to stay on top of the leaderboard.
Oh, nice. Well, That's good. That's exactly what they needed then.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to do now, and so the division leaderboard is not represented within the client itself because of the Swiss. You had to join kind of a separate division, quote
Okay.
unquote. I'm going to send you a link to Rebbl.net. You don't have to go to it if you don't want to. But
I can click. I'm out. I can still
yeah,
click around. Yeah.
so and I'll be showing this to the when I actually put the recap up as well. So what I'm going to be looking at is the actual Division 10C. So I'm not
Yeah. Look
yeah.
at 9 going down to 10C.
Yeah, perfect. So if you look at 10C, this is actually the most updated leaderboard. So if you,
Okay.
yeah, so this is also where I was talking about where you can look at your stats and the individual player stats as well. So you can see just a quick look at the leaderboard here is that we have Razzlestorm staying on top with 20 points, 5 wins, 5 draws, no losses, still undefeated throughout the season. Coming up second with
That's impressive.
the same amount
Yeah,
of
that's
points.
super impressive.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been one of the top coaches so far. But right behind him is the Squeaky Blinders with 6 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. The reason they are in second place with the same amount of points is the touchdown differential, which you can see in that last
Okay.
column.
Okay.
And then with
Yeah, I
the
might have fed Razzlestorm a little bit there, so sorry, Squeaky Blinders.
yeah. Yeah. You attributed to some of that, did you?
I did. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that 8. I'm a good third of that. So,
Yeah,
yep.
damn it, damn it, Gorst. Um, and then next up you have Atomics, which has taken a pretty big leap. I think he went up 1 or 2 spots. He's now in third with 16 points, with 4 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses. His team is looking pretty strong. Right behind him, they
Yeah.
have the PDX Boscos and Stunt Force, the Dwarf team. 3 wins, 6 draws, quite a bit of draws, and he's only lost once all season. But as Dwarves, I think Dwarves are kind of tend to lead to a lot of draws. It's kind of tough for them to score twice within a game. You give up a score, you're probably going to have a lot of 1-1 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then next we have you right there, Gorse, Knights of T, the Bretonian team, with 12 points. And you are in a bit of a cluster with 2 other teams. But because of the touchdown differential, your 3 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses is good enough for 5th place.
All right. Well, I got that going for me.
That's funny. And then
Yeah,
right
with
behind you,
the touchdown differential of 2, though. So,
it's been a close
I guess.
division. For a large chunk of the season, it is the range between the top differential and the bottom differential was the closest within of all of Rebbl. So even the G-Man conference and the Big O conference, there's a good bit where this division was the closest division within
Okay.
Rebbl. Razzlestorm's been able to separate himself a little bit more over here recently, but
Yeah.
it's been a very competitive division throughout. Right behind you is going to be Truck with the Elfish Nurgle team, the Torture Club with 3 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. Same record as you, just 1 touchdown differential behind. Behind Truck is going to be Our Name is Legion and the Mork Smashers, who have 2 wins, 6 draws, another six draws. He kind of is the draw master. Only 2 losses. It's kind of rough being in 7th place with only 2 losses throughout the division.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then right behind him we have 8th place is going to be Pimple Jams and his Pro Elf team. 2 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses. And then 9th place we have the High Elves with Hawk with 1 win, 5 draws, 4 losses. And wrapping up we have Grindel with the Safety Hazards with 5 draws. I'm really looking forward to him getting that first win of the season with 5 losses
Yeah.
as well.
It's got 3 more chances at it. You can do it.
Yeah. So are you familiar with how Swiss tourneys are set up? Do you understand how they work?
Yeah. The Swiss strategy of victory is you lose your first game and then play worst opponents to win the rest of the time.
So, however, So the Swiss is not taking into account any of the prior records before this week.
Okay.
So it's almost, how the client is treating it is that it is almost treating it as a whole new season, right? So with
Okay.
how the records turned out with the 4 draws and just 1 win, once again your next matchup is going to be completely random, and that's how your first matchup was generated, was just complete random. There wasn't one team who had 2 wins. There wasn't one team that had 2 losses. So you won't see those teams matching up. We're gonna have once again just another randomized week. However, you will not play the team you played prior. So it will keep
That makes sense.
yeah. So it will keep that in account. So you won't play the Squeaky Blinders again, but you will play someone else that is random within the division.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say don't play Rats against Teen Stars again, I'd be fine with that
Yeah,
too. But
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking at this, like, I wondering who I'd want to play. Like, I much just made that joke. I kind of want to try Rats against Teen Stars again.
Yeah,
Give them,
give them a shot. Give them their
uh,
first loss.
well, give give them another draw. I think that's my
Yeah,
goal. I'm not going in for the Stars yet.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
yeah.
I am scared of those Nurgle teams. Let me tell you that, though. Just when you think you got your people going pretty well, all of a sudden you go get Nurgle and you have at least 2 casualties.
No, yeah, especially
Death
especially
casualties, I'm
Atomics.
afraid of.
I think Truck has a
Yeah.
couple Mighty Blow, but without block. But the Atomics has 3 of his 4 Nurgle warriors with block Mighty Blow. So those guys, they're not fun to face.
Yeah.
And I noticed that
Yep.
there's 3 coaches that have not taken up their level ups, and I wonder if they're waiting to see who their next opponent is before they do that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the smart move, and so I didn't do it. And I just figured, might as well throw this on. What's the
yeah,
worst that could happen?
yeah, that's funny. All right, so what we want to do is take a look at your team here, the Knights of T, with the wonderful theme of a bunch of fantastic tea. Are you a tea fan yourself? Do you drink a lot of tea? Was one of
I
the reasons
do
you.
drink 5 to 6 cups of tea per day. Yeah.
So awesome! I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
However, I don't think Big Mate is a tea. Is that something that I'm missing?
No. So I mean, with peasants in Bretonian, do you really want to spend the time naming them? I feel like you hit a point where like those people don't matter. Uh,
So did you just unlock some sort of secret code where you name someone Big Mate and they roll up a strength immediately?
I thought it fit, so I didn't argue with the +1 strength. I thought, all right, instead of using the doubles, I'll use the two
Yeah.
sixes.
No,
I'll
that's
take
great.
it.
That is one fierce big mate. And so all the other coaches were talking, and they're trying to get together with the league to see if they can steroid test your Bretts. So
No,
um,
he's definitely juicing. I mean, luckily it is the old world, so it's not a crime.
yeah. So
Yeah.
your team is known as the steroid Bretts when another coach is referencing. But your team looks fantastic here, man. So you have Green here, who is one of your best players. I was looking, like I said, we're talking about the putting together the all division team. I think Green is one that is right now one of the top players within the entire division. He has some incredible stats. You got a Blodge Step Nerves of Steel, unfortunately niggled Blitzer, but
Yeah.
the guy's been a stud for you all season.
Well, so this is one of the things that he's leveled up so many times. I've started taking things that I don't know what I'm doing. It's all right. So he's a blodger. That's fantastic. Everyone loves that. And then I want to make him a scoring threat, so I give him sidestep, so he's super annoying. And now that I kept on feeding him because he's super annoying. Now his nerves of steel. So I guess I don't know. I can hand off the ball and make crazy runs with, or maybe even try passing when I'm desperate with him and not worry about it.
Yeah. See, with
That
the
that was like, what else do I take at this point? And
yeah,
I went that route.
exactly. You're sort of kind of at that point with the Bretonian Blitzers, unfortunately, to where agility and passing access is awesome, but there's very kind of limited options within there, right? There's some that are just maybe you could have taken diving tackle or leader or something along the lines, but
Yeah.
you start to get limited once you start getting into the third, fourth, fifth levels of the agility slash passing skill ups.
So playing with the Bretonians now a lot, there's various routes I went with my skills that I'm unhappy with and would change up. Like I feel like Bretonians have a much easier time scoring than preventing other teams to score. And I made my blitzers, like this guy especially, into a scoring machine, but I don't think that's where my weaknesses in my team lie. I'm adding strength on strength instead of taking instead of trying to shore up some of my weaknesses.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
interesting.
he definitely, I've got two of them. They're built for more defense smash, and two of them built more for scoring. And it's hard to say what I should be doing with him, but he is definitely going to be hopefully my Odell Beckham Jr. or my
Yeah,
you know
top fantasy scorer, get him in the first round.
yeah yeah that's my goal
Yeah, and
with him.
so and
My
then
Devontae Adams, yeah.
yeah, your other three blitzers have just been just incredible roll ups here, just awesome pieces here. You have the strength four tackle Herbal, who has just
Yeah,
been
I love that guy.
yeah, he's been a pillar for your team. You blitz with them, I think, even more than your Mighty Blow guide you do sometimes, just because it allows you to
Well,
do more during the turn, right? It sets up,
yeah,
it gives you commit less to the blitz. It has been able to, it has really been able to really get your team. And once he gets the ball, he's tough to get rid of it's tough to get him down on
yeah.
the ground. He's been a
Him
great
getting
piece for you.
tackle means he's, especially against Skaven, like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Mighty Blow is nice and all, but I need to get you down on the ground. So I'd
yeah,
rather take the guaranteed knockdown than a +1 to your injury
yeah.
or to your armor break, really.
And then you got the Mighty Blow piece. So you rolled a double on this guy, and I love Mighty Blow on the blitzers here. And this
Yeah,
is what I was sort of hinting at the beginning, to where it says that you've been able to get just some of those strength skills on the blitzers, make them really really good. I think that's a
yeah.
great piece. I'd be excited to get that. And he's only one SPP away from leveling up again.
Frenzy from
Frenzy,
Frenzy.
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. I think
No,
that's good.
he
High movement piece. And with Mighty Blow already, yeah, I think I like that a lot.
he's what I'm hoping is going to take out their key pieces. I think in the last game of the game, I tried making sure every blitz until it was like a desperate situation went against a gutter runner, hoping and praying I can try to thin those out. It didn't work at all, but I'm confident that was the right choice,
Oh, I agree.
and I want to
I
keep
agree.
doing that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And having frenzy, sort of it changes how your opponent plays, right? They were going to stay more centralized within the field. If they
Yeah,
ever
especially
get
with the move 7 guy with
yeah,
Frenzy.
yeah, it's awesome. And eventually he can get sidestep, just natural access to sidestep, so he's less likely to be surfed himself. I think frenzy's a good call there.
Yep. So
Um,
1 point away, which means he's going to become the QB. He's got to do his best Aaron Rodgers impersonation and
yeah.
make sure I throw it downtown.
Did you catch that game last night, the Packers game?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Are you a Bears fan? I hope you're not a Bears fan.
new.
Okay.
I am very much a Packers fan.
Great. Okay.
Come to yeah,
Okay. Great. I'm glad.
some of the highest highs and lowest lows of my
Yeah.
football watching career.
My gosh, how sad was it when Aaron Rodgers went down with the leg injury? I was like, that's
Oh
bad
yeah,
for the NFL.
that was a season. Like I thought, like here I have been hyped up for a year. He comes back. I think he's going to win the MVP because
First
Rodgers
half.
loves playing
Yeah.
with chip on his shoulder, and he's done for the season.
Yeah. Kaiser didn't have
Yeah.
to play very well either.
Uh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's
There are
hopefully
problems
he's gonna
there.
be okay. Hopefully he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So looking at the rest of your team, obviously you have Big Mate going out there scoring touchdowns, and being
Yeah.
your
And like
block strength four fin piece. That guy's a beast.
so one thing that I think really cost me in the first 2 games of this game that I became aware of was my TV value was higher than theirs by a noticeable amount,
Hmm.
and then they both got wizards. And so with I didn't feel comfortable like dicking around playing ball control with when they have the wizard on the board because then they could open up my cage and do something.
Yep.
So, and I felt that was such a huge advantage it gave them. So I want to try actively getting my TV value down lower, but it's so hard. Like Big
Yeah.
Mate is
Who to get
almost
over?
3 times the cost of a regular lineman, but strength 4 block, I don't want to give up.
Yeah. No doubt. That is tough. Let's see. You have 12 pieces, so I think you only have one bench, so you don't want to give up that, especially with your
Yeah.
AV7s. The only thing I could think of is potentially Green, who's niggled, who's eventually probably gonna be more likely hurt.
Yeah.
And maybe you could try to make that the defensive blitzer if you wanted. But I mean, that guy's
I
been
would
so
save.
good that it's tough to get rid of him.
I want to get rid of Lemon. I mean, I'm going down to only 2 guards then, and he's got agility 2 with his injury, which
Yeah,
I don't care with him.
yeah,
But 2 guards is probably enough. I did not make these decisions until I saw who my next opponent was. Because if I'm hitting Nurgle, who has a much higher TV than me, I'm definitely keeping guard. But if I hit like the Elf player or the Underworld player, I don't want to give him Morgan Thorg.
Yeah,
That seems like a bad move.
yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting. I really like how the Swiss is set up. I think it's cool because you're facing coaches you've already played before, which adds kind of
Yeah,
a pretty cool dynamic to see if how does the game go compared to the first one. Because like you said, there is a lot of skill, but there's also a lot of luck involved. So these games can be high variance. So if you see a coach go out there and does the same thing to the other coach, maybe you start to say, yeah, I mean maybe that coach got outplayed. Or maybe you see, the dice swing something to the other end, and someone can get their revenge their loss earlier in the season as
yeah,
well.
yep. And so, yeah, and even looking at like our champ or league's leader, teams against Rising Stars, like I think weaponizes his TV so well. If you look at his team, he has so little fat on it.
Yeah,
Like his linemen are just blank, and it allows him to just get down under those teams like myself, who I've got awesome skills across the board. And that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, like, man, uh, I'm also bloated with my TV value because of
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So it's interesting. This is the first time I've ever thought about like actually trying to drop TV uh, to people that are good. Like, Nice Bert has blocks, so he costs 50% more than a regular old lineman.
yeah,
And it's not too much more, but when I start adding that plus as like other people have all that going on, it really starts ramping up my TV to points that I'm not sure whether I want to keep them or not.
yeah, yeah.
Which is fun. I'm
It
glad
is.
that
That's
I'm finally
awesome.
seeing these
Yeah.
parts of Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that's also the TV efficiency definitely plays a huge part. And you're right, Skaven with the wizard is very scary. They maybe more so
Yeah.
than any other team, they can take advantage of it. Especially you have a gut runner with like big hand or something that can ignore tackle zones.
Yep.
That's not fair.
Yeah, so green is definitely someone who I'm tempted to cut. Lemon is someone I'm tempted to cut. And like Nice Bert, if I really need to get under, the problem is I can only afford to replace either Lemon and a lineman or green right now.
Yeah.
You only have so much money.
Right. Yeah. Um,
If only they would kill more of my players, I wouldn't have to deal with this problem.
yeah. Hey, you heard it, folks. He's asking.
Yeah,
He's asking for a TV trim.
yeah, kill my blitzers, please.
That's funny. All right, man. That kind of ends the portion of this show. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this with me, man. That's awesome. It always makes the recaps a lot better. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this next week's games. If you get a
Yeah,
chance, I know a lot of the coaches are within the Discord, so it just kind of peek around there and maybe talk to some of the coaches if you'd like. And I'll be sure to, once this is live, I'll send you the link so you'll get kind of a sneak peek of it before I post it live with everyone else.
yeah. So I've really enjoyed this division, and it's been a lot of fun. And one of the greatest things is no one's ever complained for my turn 16 fouls. So,
Yeah, no, everyone's like that. That's a respect
yeah,
foul, man. That's a respect foul.
I expect that.
Yeah.
I am beating you.
Yeah.
I understand why you're doing this.
Yeah, yeah, no one's gonna have any complaints.
Yeah, my bitterness can come out in the last move of the game. Everyone's fine with it.
Well, that's great, man. So I think let's go wrap it up here. Really appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem. Thank you as well.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of the Division 10C of REL. In this portion, we will be giving our predictions and a preview of the next upcoming matchups. Unfortunately, Chopshu was not able to make it for this week. However, we do have a special guest picker, and that is your table leader, Razzlestorm. Hey, Razzlestorm, how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Awesome. So I say we dive right into it. So the division just rolled. I think you guys finished. It was very quick. I think the Swiss opened up on either Wednesday or Thursday. All of the matches in the first week of the Swiss was already done by Sunday night. So we got a little bit of early of a roll in this week. And because of the first week, we had 4 draws and only one actual decisive winner. And day 2 of the Swiss, we once again had a partially randomized selection for who was going to play who. The only thing is with Swiss, you will never play the same team twice. So with that in mind, we have a somewhat of a randomized selection for match day 2. And first we have up is going to be Atomics' The Rowdy Rebbl Rousers facing off against PDX Bosco's Stump Force. And this is a Nurgle versus Dwarf squad going off against each other. And I will say that I know Atomics had to unfortunately leave his town. I think he was in the Carolinas. He had to go to Michigan because of the hurricane that's coming. So we definitely wish him all the luck with him and his and all his family, and hope all things go well for him. PDX Bosco messaged me and said that they do plan on getting their match done this week, which is good for the league. But most importantly, we definitely want to make sure that him and his and everything that in his involvement is as safe as possible. So good luck, Atomics.
Yeah. He was actually the only one that won as well, so he was our winner for the last round.
Yeah, and his prize for winning is maybe getting the toughest matchup in the week. So a dwarf team that has a block Death Roller in Stunt Force. However, Stunt Force does have both of his Troll Slayers missing this game, I believe. I'm going to take a quick peek.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. So he still have all of his guard pieces. The Death Roller will be important because just naturally the Nurgle team is going to have a strength advantage over the Dwarf. So the Death Roller will definitely play a big part in that. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there will be one Loner Longbeard, one Journeyman, no bench for the Dwarves, unless he wants to spend some of his cash that he definitely has. And Atomics here, the Nurgle, has 3 level ups that he hasn't gone up yet. So I think it'll be a significant TV advantage for the Nurgle team. Definitely strength advantage. I think he has the better team, especially with the Troll Slayers out. And I also think this is probably going to be the best matchup of the week, just how everything's lined up. So kind of coining this as the unofficial match of the week. But who do you have, Redstorm? What's your gut opinion about who might come in on top on this one?
I think it's Atomics, and yeah, I definitely think it's going to be the match of the week. Just Atomics has, like you said, he has the better team. They're both great coaches, but I think Atomics has more experience too. And unfortunately, he doesn't have any claw on his level ups, so that might be something where he runs into a little bit of trouble. But I see him being able to pull it out, especially with the there's going to be some play with the Agi 4 Rotter it's going to make it happen.
Hey, he's already been able to tie him one game this year, so I guess I wouldn't be surprised by that. Yeah, I think I agree with you on this one. I think Atomics is going to come out. I think the coach level is similar, and like I said previously, yeah. I believe that that the Nurgle team's a better team right now. So I think I'm going to lean with the Atomics and the Rowdy Rebbl Rousers as well. Next up, we have the Mork Smashes, who is the Draw King of 10C, facing off against the Steroid Bretts, the Knights of T, coached by Gorsht. This is an interesting matchup. I think it's kind of two teams that are, or two coaches anyways, that are better than what their record says they are. They're both kind of in the middle of the pack in the table, but both of their teams are starting to come around and look really good. I think this is an interesting matchup. I'm excited to see this one. I am going to go with the Orc team here, Mork Smashers. I think he's going to come out on top. I think he's starting to get his kill skills. The Black Orcs have finally gotten some development. I think he is going to turn the corner and start to become a force to reckon with. But what are your thoughts?
I'm going to predict a tie.
Hey, that's the easiest prediction yet, man. That's
yeah, just because I do think the Orc team has a very good team. They have the Mighty Blue piling on. They have tackle, but Knights of T, they don't have many dodge. They have one dodge on a movement 8 blitzer, but they have strip ball as well on a blocker. So I think that's going to be sort of something that we see come into play. There'll be strip ball and wrestle, and
he kind of has the defense skills to stop the score, maybe.
Yeah, I think they'll have the defense skills to stop the score, and then maybe not get enough offensive removals or just not enough power to push through. So it'll be like a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Next up, we have the Squeaky Blinders, who is right now your number one competition in trying to take the
Yes.
playoff spot, facing off against Hawk and his famous Wizards, a high elf team. So this is going to be an interesting one. This was a very close matchup the last time they played, and I think the Squeaky Blinders. It might have been a draw now that I think about it, but I know it was a high scoring affair, and I'm expecting something similar. Both these teams like to score. Squeaky Blinders tend to stall it out a little bit more often than the famous Wizards do, but I'm expecting I think 3 or 4 touchdowns this matchup, and I'm gonna give this one to the Squeaky Blinders and a slight edge, just because I think a little bit more healthier team, and I think they have. I think 2 mighty blow pieces that can do some damage to the elves. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree. The elves have their key player out. Their one strip ball guy is out, and the Squeaky Blinders have a strip ball gutter runner with 2 heads and wrestle. They have a mighty blow tackle storm vermin, which is gonna do a lot of work, I think. And they have some guard, some wrestle. So they have the numbers. They have, I think, higher amount of skills than the famous wizards, and it's probably gonna do it for him.
Yeah, and a lot of these predictions, I feel like they're so the coach level in this division is so similar across the board that it's sometimes you just kind of look at the teams and you see which team do you think is in better shape at that current time, and that kind of
Right.
leads to who you're going to choose in your prediction.
I mean, yeah, we do have a lot of similar coach levels, and everyone's been playing really well. So the division is actually a lot closer than anyone might think. Um, like Atomic or not Atomics, yeah, Atomics can come back up. Squeaky Blinders, we're actually tied for first. Just that I have the TD difference, so I'm appearing number one right now. But if he gets a win and I get a tie, then he gets number one.
Yeah, he just as easily can take over. And I think Stunt
Yeah.
Force and the Dwarf team and Atomic Sleep at the Nurgle team are still looking for that playoff spot, but they need a little bit of help. Can't quite control their destination, but I do believe
Yeah.
if you and Reno Maximus, the Squeaky Blinders coach, I think if y'all both win out, that I think whoever wins out is most likely going to take the playoff spot if that happens. Because if you both win out, then it's likely that you'll end up facing each other towards the end of the Swiss. So,
Right.
um,
And that'll be the deciding factor.
yeah, yeah. So that's it'll be interesting. It's definitely going to come down to the last few matches. And yeah, speaking of your squad, we have the Rats against Teen Stars facing off against Grindel's Safety Hazards. We have the team that is undefeated facing off the team that does not have any wins at the moment. So you would think, hey, easy win for you, right? But is that how you feeling going to this matchup?
I'm not. That is not how I feel at all. He has flammable and inflammable. His two mighty blow, claw, and now he has a tackle on inflammable. Which yeah, I think it's going to do a lot of work. I'm pretty bad at keeping my gutter runners safe. I tend to do sort of more risky things with them, and I think he's going to be able to capitalize on that. I do have 2 tackle, so I think maybe I can, if I can get enough of his goblins out, maybe in the first half, regardless of if who's on offense or who's on defense, then I might have a chance.
Yeah, he has a fierce team that will destroy and out-remove probably anyone else in the division at the moment.
Yeah,
Two Mighty Bow Claw, like I said, the Inflammable just got the tackle. I'm pretty sure he waited to see who his next opponent was before he grabbed that level up. I think he saw
he
once he was,
did.
yeah, once he was going up Skaven, then made his decision to grab some tackle. Not only that, ladders the block troll with a Mighty Blow as well. It's not difficult to get 3 dies against you. Even a
Yeah,
natural 3 die against a gutter runner if that were to come about, and yeah, he has a chance to put up some major hurt on you. So he's definitely not a guy that maybe typically in the Swiss used to be like, okay, I'm facing up against someone who's towards the bottom of the ladder, but he might put your team in a place that you can't recover.
yeah. In the first couple matches, like if you're facing against an unleveled underworld team, you're like, oh, okay, this should be in my favor if I have a tier one team. But after he starts getting those levels, then you're like, this team is actually scary. And he
Yes,
has,
yes.
my strip ball gutter runner won't be able to do anything because he has sure hands as well. So It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I'm not underestimating him in this match at all.
No, no, and you definitely shouldn't. He's a good coach as well, so it'll be a tough one for you. I'm taking a quick look at your team. So you have looks like you'll have one bench unless you purchase somebody. But what's your thoughts on the current state of your team?
I probably will purchase somebody, just because I do have the money to spare, and I I was thinking about purchasing two and getting rid of my kick uh, lineman because they have the minus movement allowance. But I think I'm going to keep kick for this match and then maybe just purchase another rat
Yeah,
and
he's
hope that I can get enough removals
y-
to sort of do something.
yeah. I mean, C Palm Holland, Claw Palm Holland is I think it'll be kind of your number one maker this game. I think he has a chance to equalize in the removal game. Harry Styles,
Yeah.
maybe if he's selective in who he hits, might be able to cause some standards, get some stuns, maybe some KOs. He's so close to leveling up, man. It's been a struggle to level
I
him up. Isn't it?
know.
It's
Yeah, he's been on the fence for a long time.
as great as it is to roll claw. It's also terrible if it's your first skill, right? He's just a stun
Right.
machine.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't just say no, like, oh, I'm just gonna go Mighty Blow and then ignore
No,
claw,
yeah.
ignore the doubles.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, when you're competing for a playoff spot, it's not easy just to be like, okay, I'm going to give him a score this drive, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely tough sledding. But you do have the agility, Millie probably
Finally
down
got her
Brown.
agility up.
That's
Yeah.
a
So
fantastic piece.
hopefully that'll do a lot of work.
Yeah. So you got two blodge step, blodge tackle, wrestle dodge strip, gutter runners. Your gutter runners are absolutely fantastic. Tons of SPP on them, so that's awesome to see. Still have the thrower, the block thrower. Do you think at any point during your build, let's say if you ever get to the point where you hire TV, do you think you'll keep the thrower throughout the life of the team?
Yeah, I always usually keep one thrower just because if he does, if there's anything that I need, or if my gut runners sort of get knocked out, or if I need to move the ball relatively fast, if I ever get a one turner, then the thrower is usually pretty essential to that.
Yeah.
Um, and against strip ball later in the future. And if he ever gets a stat up, then becomes amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, and then the last matchup we have is going to be a few ornery Onanis coached by Pimple Jams facing off against Truck and his not so Nurgle team here.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. This is quite a bit of an elf off here, as you know or as most people in the division know, Truck is a very strange build here. 1730 Nurgle team with only one Mighty Blow and no Claw. Two Mighty Blow, excuse me. He has a Mighty Blow Rotter that I forgot about.
Yeah.
He's fun to see. He's fun to watch. I know that Pimple Jams and the few Ornery Underness have struggled against the Nurgle team this year, so I think I'm going to lean for Truck on this one as well. And he does have a tackle piece that I think is a tackle Pestigore that I think is going to be kind of a pain in the butt for Pimple Jams, but I would not be surprised if Pimple Jams comes out with the win on this one as well. But I'm going to lean towards Truck in the Nurgle squad. Who do you think?
I am gonna have to agree just because Pimple Jam's team has been having a rough time. Looks like they're down to 9 people. Their thrower is out. They have a lineman with Agi 3 instead of Agi 4. Everyone else is armor 7. Their blitzers are okay. I know he had a blitzer die recently, I think as well. So has a brand new blitzer. And he has one blitzer with dodge and diving tackle. So against, if Truck starts getting removals or gets anything, he also has an edgy 5. It's just there's just so many pieces that are amazing on his team.
I was talking to Truck this week, and I was like, man, your team might not hit their stride until about 2400 TV, but once they're there, they're going to be probably the best team in the entire league.
Yeah, I mean, just he has a Blodge Nurgle Warrior. He has it's just there's so many tools that he has, whereas Pipple Jam has lost some of his tools due to injuries, so it's going to
Yeah.
be hard. Although Truck only does have the one tackle, and that tackle doesn't have a block, so could be.
That's true. And the Onanis are going to have
Oh yeah, like 400.
yeah, tons of inducements, right? So he might be able to. He'll have the two journeymen, a wizard. Might be able to get a star player also. So he might have one bench. And Truck has two mighty blow, but like both of those don't have block. They don't have tackled either. So
Yeah.
I,
So it could be.
it could be close.
Yeah, Pipple Jam could definitely like induce his way into a victory or a
Yeah.
tie. Or...
Yeah. So I think this one could be a lot closer than what you would originally think, but I still think
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Truck with this one.
Same.
All right, well that rounds it out. So this was kind of a funky recap where it's kind of broke up in two different parts, but I was happy to get two of the coaches on board. So Storm, thank you so much for your time and your predictions, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. See you next time.